Welcome to Last Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe, from announcements made by DE that don't necessarily warrant their own videos, to community fan art, post, and update. So without further ado, let's go over these announcements and news from the 26th of May to the 1st of June. Starting this week's episode off, we did have a few comments by DE staff on Nitain Acquisition. The first was from DE Danielle on PS4 at 4, and it follows.
Nitain is unobtainable right now without Nightwave. What can we do about this? So that Nitain obviously being a resource that was brought over to Nightwave shop, to the Nightwave offering shop. Now that Nightwave is not here anymore, how do we get Nitain? So we have been thinking of ways in which we can bring Nitain to you in different ways that can fill in the gap between both series. So last week we had Gift of the Lotus alerts that gave you 10 Nitain, something we'll possibly keep doing in between in the meantime. We also had Twitch drops for streams, so some lighter things in between just to keep you guys able to earn your Nitain regardless of the fact that Nightwave isn't there anymore. But we are aware of this. We know that the gap obviously is, going to prevent you guys from getting some of the things that are offered in the shop. So something we are keeping in mind.
The second statement was from DE Rebecca on PrimeTime 249.
As you know, Nightwave has been off for about 2 weeks now, so every weekend we're going to be running some contingency alerts. So this weekend, all platforms will be getting a Nightwave 48-hour alert for the Hildren Acheron Alt Helmet Blueprint. So you didn't get a chance to get that in Nightwave Series 1, so we're going to give it to you over this weekend.
Next up was the Hotfixes released last week on PC. Now I have covered all of them with the exception of one. Those hotfixes are panned across the screen and, like usual, everything linked in the description if you want to go to them directly. Those are 25.0.4, 0.5, 0.6, and 0.7. The uncovered hotfix was 25.0.8, and in that hotfix they boosted the drop chance of Hexanon from amalgams to 7.7% and increased the Hexanon rewards from the Disruption game mode by 25%. They also reduced the run speed of the melee nullifiers and shrunk their nullifying bubbles down to 66% of the previous size in the Gas City tile set. They also made it so the copy main colors option within the arsenal will now update your energy effects. And they had also optimized the leaderboard UI display. Now the Ropalolyst had fixes on top of that, and they fixed it walking around in circles after landing due to it being affected by Magus lockdown, cases of the operator falling into a teleport volume twice before getting placed safely back into the middle of the room during the fight, the Ropalolyst turning itself upside down for no reason at all, and the tower collision volumes not being disabled for clients within the fight. Now for the overall fixes, they fixed a crash that could occur if the download cache was corrupted, and Ivara's Cloak arrow functioning on defense objectives, leaving enemies unable to find it. Now in regards to that Ivara fix, DE responded at a later point with the following. The Ivara fix was specifically aimed at cryopod defense missions on shipyard defense, such as Castor on Ceres, or the Galleon defense, such as Helene on Saturn and Hydron on Sedna. On most defense missions involving a cryopod, using a cloaking arrow did not affect the pod, nor was it supposed to. These specific missions allowed the cloaking arrow to be effective, and led to a silly situation where enemies would run up and stand directly beside the pod, but be unable to attack it. This fix was not intended to change the effectiveness of the cloaking arrow in other situations beyond named missions. And if players see collateral damage to the behavior of enemies in other game modes, please consider it unintended and report it as a bug. Returning to the hotfix, they fixed the Amalgam Argonac Metal Auger mod not removing armor with the dagger attacks, the inability to add a precept to Venari using Forma, missing various UI elements or getting a black screen after entering the vent simultaneously at the start of Bounty 3 in the Prophet Taker. They fixed an issue with the Vapos Ranger enemies spawning infinitely in one spot in the Gas City tile set, arcanes awarded through bounties showing as mods in the UI, the ambient occlusion setting being disabled, issues in the Gas City Spy Vault including stuck spots, teleports, and possible performance concerns, a bug in one of the Gas City vaults where the core lasers were not turning off for clients, Revenant's default energy color being too green, maggots from strain mods on Nidus not using the proper emissive colors, the Lecter, Simulor, and Ignis energy colors persisting as default, the Edo Prime armor set not applying energy colors in the dojo, the Komorex light effects being too intense, the lens jets still appearing when you apply the Dryad bow skin, and they fixed seeing red fog in void tile sets. Next on the list was DE confirming they are aware of the Komorex removing clan Affinity, and they are looking into it. They also released a post about the hostile mergers leaderboard, and they have removed scores from players that used exploits, and said exploiters have received suspensions up until the operation ends, and they also said that repeated exploiters have received permanent game bans. And an update to my separate video, which was on the same post, DE had made an edit on the 30th with the following comment. We have fixed another exploit and cleaned out some illicit scores we detected as a result. This exploit was firmly rooted in an older level scaling bug returning on certain unit types. We have fixed the bug, and now competition is more balanced for the final weekend stretch. For Nintendo Switch players, you can expect another dump of Tennogen in the next update, the Jovian Concord, when that does go live. Now those Tennogen cosmetics include the Icarus, Kunshu, Sephiroth, Shirahoshi, Sildarg, and Saidiko Cyandanas portioned into their own bundle, the Blade of the Lotus skins for Banshee, Oberon, Rhino, and Trinity, plus the Exaltation skin for Excalibur in their own pack, the Excalibur, Ronin, Loki Kadama, Nova Corpora, Necros Grax, and Zephyr Strafe skins in their own pack. The next pack will have the Naru and Scapula Cyandanas, and the final bundled up dump includes the Gara Salika helmet, Mag Pharaoh skin, Mesa Mullet skin, Nyx Aurelia, and the Lympharis Polearm skin. Attached to this post was the notification that no official date has been set for the console release of Jovian Concord, but it will be coming soon. You just gotta wait. For PlayStation 4 users, the Renowned Pack 14 is now live and includes the Sonicor and Cerro Obsidian skins, a 3-day Affinity and Credit Booster, and 170 Platinum. For Xbox users, the Prestige Pack includes the Casawar Jade skin, the Patika Jade Sugatra, a 3-day Affinity and Credit Booster, and 170 Platinum. And lastly, for Nintendo Switch users, there is the Esteem Pack with the Vault and the Twin Gracada's Opal skin, a 3-day Affinity and Credit Booster, and 170 Platinum. For Tennogen creators, the Tennogen files and information for Wisp are now available. In reply to another post about Tennogen and a turned-down item, D.E. Taylor had replied to the player saying the following. There were a variety of factors that resulted in us not being able to consider it for round 16, unfortunately. Marketing of an item has little weight of the team's decision since it's grounded in technical and style guidelines. Now, the 4th episode of the Deconstructing podcast is also live, and it is part 2 of the interview with the sound design members. For developer tweets this week, we had one, and that was from D.E. Taylor, once again giving us clarification on the Feypath ephemera being accessible for console users. Currently, you can only activate 2-factor authentication and get the ephemera on PC, but we will share news on how to get the ephemera on Switch, Xbox One, PS4 in the future. Remember that last week we did have DE Danielle saying it may not come in the Jovian Concord for the console release, so just be aware of that. And on Reddit last week, we had Rebecca replying to 2 posts. The first was about the Prova Vandal missing from Barracuteer's rotation, saying they can review it, and the second reply was to a user asking about Nitain Acquisition, where she had said that next weekend will have Nitain alerts. As for community fan art this week, I'm going to try to bring it back. We had the Excalibur helmet by Arthur B. Cole, Baruch Deluxe by Twonky Kong, Sentient by Purple Cube, and lastly a concept piece for an infested battle rifle called the Nine. The creator behind this concept even added lore behind it, stats, and special traits. On top of that, they added artist notes that goes into their inspiration behind its creation, and the aforementioned traits. So if you want to check that creator out, all the links to everything I've mentioned here today are in the description. But that does conclude this episode of Last Week in Warframe. If you did find the video informative, make sure to leave a like. If you think I can improve upon the series outside of sharing my own opinions, make sure to leave it in the comments section down below. If you want the channel glyph, they are up on your screen. They are one-time use. If someone has already used it, you cannot use it. Simple as that. Anyway, if you missed out on last week's episode, make sure to click the annotation on the screen right now. It will take you right to it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.